everyone, so this is day 2 of 12 days of winter wellness, and today you're going to do one of my favourite back releases. We're going to work on opening up the hip because tight hips can contribute to a cranky back. What you will need is a bolster of some sort. So if you've got a yoga bolster, this is quite a small yoga bolster, but if you've got a standard yoga bolster, that would work. If you've got a foam roller, that would work. If you don't have either of those, grab a couple of big bath towels and roll them up really tight to create a good firm sausage that's going to go across the width of the back of the pelvis. Okay, so you're going to need to lay down, knees bent with your bolster behind the back of your knees. Once you're down, lift the hips up, pop the bolster at the back of the pelvis. It doesn't want to be into the lower back. It wants to be behind the space of the area between the pubic bone and the navel. So it feels like the back of your hips are resting down. And then just let your arms relax. Find some length into the back of the neck. And these front ribs, let them just melt in. So you get that feeling of just gently dropping through. Now, for some of you, simply dropping the front ribs in and the back ribs down, you might already start to feel a soft, passive length into the lower back. And that might be just the ticket. But otherwise, take a few moments, let yourself settle, make sure that you have got that feeling of dropping weight behind you, and then just extend one leg forward. Let the heel just rest down, but just pop the leg forward. You might notice an opening through the front of the hip. And again, for some of you, that might be enough. What you don't want to feel is that lengthening leg causes you to be pulled forward. If it does, bend the knee a little and then gradually start to move that leg into greater length. But assuming you have no issues, see how that feels. Then just see if you can do the same with the other leg. So again, for some people, this is really going to drag you forward, and we definitely don't want that. So those ribs stay back, and just see how that opens up the front of the hips. Spend a few breaths here, just allowing that gentle openness to develop. But if it starts to feel a little tight, a little compressed around the low back, then bend those knees, take a moment and gradually work up to it. Once you're happy, you're going to bring your right knee into the chest. Hold behind the thigh or across the front of the shin, it doesn't really matter. And as you breathe out, so this all happens at once, as you breathe out, you're going to draw that knee a little closer. You're going to flex the left foot, heel down, press the leg away into length, and slightly press that lower back a little deeper into the space behind the bolster. And then as you breathe in, just release. So again, on the outward breath, knee pulls in, opposite leg lengthens, keep the heel down to the floor, flex that foot, press through the back edge, and then slightly press that low back down as if you're starting shoulder bridge, that scooping curl. And then release. Do that a few more times. So just lengthening out the long leg, heel down, knee pulls in a little tighter, lower back just lengthens as you scoop through. And then when you've done a few of those, release, let that leg lengthen forward again, see how that feels, make sure you're not pulled, and then change sides. So right leg stays long, left leg pulls in across shin or behind thigh, relax those shoulders, and all on the outward breath, flex that right foot, press away through the back of the right leg, at the same time pull the left knee in, at the same time just scoop through, so as if you were trying to just gently imprint the low back to the floor, and then as you breathe in, release. And do that a few more times. So lengthen, hug, slight scoop. And then a few more. You can do this as many times as feels lovely, to be honest. And then when you've done those, you may do a few more, put the foot back down, extend those legs away. Just notice if anything's changed. Does it feel less effort to be here? Do you feel like there's any more length? And then bring one knee into the chest, bring the second leg into the chest, have a little hug in and let that bolster just prop you up to give your back a little bit more of a stretch out. Before replacing, lift the hips, take the bolster away, let yourself rest back down. Just relax. You might even want to push that bolster a little bit further forward, let it rest behind your knees and have your legs resting on the bolster. And just see if your back feels any more connected into the floor. Maybe that arch in the low back doesn't feel quite as high, quite as tight, quite as compressed. Maybe you just feel like you're just settling a little bit more deeply. And you can stay here as long as you like, connect with the breath, just as we did yesterday. And I'll see you again tomorrow.